back. Markets are under pressure this morning, pulling back a bit, but stocks, of course, are coming off of a record-setting week once again after President Trump's address of Congress. Joining me now is the CEO of Zinder and Associates, Mark Zinder. Mark, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you as well.
Big rally. What do you attribute 100 straight days of gains without interruption?
Well, the president has told us what he's going to do, and he's doing what he told us he was going to do. The market doesn't like uncertainty. They love it when they know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but is it going to happen, Dagen? We've been waiting for this to happen. We've been waiting for some tax reform. Market's up 14% since Election Day.
And some of that is just better news down the road. We've had guests on on your program who said that there's a double-digit increase in earnings anyway, even without tax reform. But again, the next few months are going to be critical in terms of getting through the Obamacare repeal or the new health care bill for Republicans. Because if it looks, this is a market that's purely trading off what's happening in Washington. If it looks like it's going to get bogged down, that bogs down tax reform and tax cuts.
So what would you do, Kevin? I mean, at this point, with the market where it is, do you want to take some money off the table? Are you worried that this timeline that Dagen's putting out there is going to materialize?
I'm not necessarily worried. I think investors need to pick and choose where they want to be in the marketplace. And one of the reasons why is we still are in a low interest rate environment. The Fed is still coming off the zero bound. Interest rates are going to remain low. Earnings power is very strong for S&P 500 companies. You want to be in those that can capitalize in the new environment and can continually grow. Whether or not we get tax reform, we deregulation or what have you, you've seen the financials run up a lot, but you're still seeing earnings growth on the top line and the bottom line in a lot of the information technology companies that are doing well. So you need to pick and choose in this market. You just can't blanketly invest.
I know that we're going to talk about this later in the program, the sell-off in oil, but I'll point out that energy stocks since the election are the only group that are now in negative territory. That's not necessarily bad news for the economy.
Right.
If you're waiting for a tax cut, well, Americans will get a small one in lower energy prices.
Now, we want to talk about oil. That's a great point that you bring up, and also the jobs number tomorrow, Mark. So let's talk about oil first, because prices plunged 5.4% yesterday, the biggest drop in over a year on oil prices. There it is right now at $49.24. What does this tell you about where we are?
Well, John Templeton always told me, you buy at the point of maximum pessimism. You buy it when nobody else wants it, right? You don't buy it when it's high, you buy it when it's low. And so there are going to be opportunities. The thing he also taught me to look at is price to book. Some of these stocks are still selling below tangible book value. So I don't know what's going to happen in 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. But in 3 years, if things improve, then you're finding bargains right now.
Well, what do you mean if they improve? I mean, President Trump has been very clear he wants to tap into America's energy. And so if we're tapping into America's energy, doesn't that mean more supply? If you have more supply, doesn't that mean lower prices?
It could be. Yeah, absolutely. And it also could be that a new technology is determined. It could be solar energy, so maybe prices do continue to come down, but there will be benefits elsewhere.
I kind of get the vibe that Trump's not going to be investing too much in solar energy. Just
I get that vibe too. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, he's trying to, go back into the traditional sources of energy. Coal, I mean, you saw him deregulate in that space. I mean, when it comes to getting oil from the shale country here, I mean, we've got the prices are so low right now. They can extract oil at $29 a barrel, and so you've seen oil run up almost 100% since the low earlier.
And I own the oils. I mean, I've bought a couple of them.
You like oils? I
do, for the most part. Once again, my long-term plan is 3, 4, 5 years, not 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Let's get your take on the jobs number tomorrow. 4.7% is where the unemployment rate is expected to be, with 190,000 jobs created in the month of February. Think we'll get a good report?
I think we're going to get a great report. I think that across the board, what we saw yesterday was manufacturing, mining, services, all across the board, all doing well. And it's not with regards to, robotics is going to take jobs away. I think this is jobs are being created, even though we see robotics and artificial intelligence coming our way.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because here's a new take on a robot, new burger flipping robot. You see this, Kevin? This robot called Flippy can cook and plate a burger. I mean, this is the simplest job, and these are the kinds of jobs that are going to machines. You're not worried about this. You don't think it matters that we're seeing robotics take over certain jobs?
I think robotics help create jobs. Think about the automobile industry, right? When they were made by hand, maybe they weren't as reliable. Now they're more reliable. We buy more American cars. It creates more jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, these are
jobs, though.
Yeah, these are low skill, low
Absolutely.
education, low income
So you don't
jobs
mind
that are
these going away.
high repetitive tasks. You saw the previous administration come out with a report saying that it highlighted 83% of jobs that pay less than $20 an hour have a high probability to automation. Only 4% of jobs that make that are $40 or above have a high
Very
probability.
interesting that while this is going on, a lot of these people are still demanding $15 an hour.
Sure.
I would,
Yeah.
the robot can chop vegetables too. It's, got it all going on.
But the
you're
new
absolutely right.
jobs, I was reading the other day that now there are states that want to bring back cursive writing. Well, why not coding? Why don't we teach coding into our elementary schools?
I never have used cursive writing beyond second grade.
No, but writing and fonts are very important. We should ask Steve Jobs about that because Steve Jobs actually studied calligraphy when he was in college.
Huh.
So writing's important.
It is
Good
important.
penmanship is
And-
important.
Are there jobs that are robot resistant?
Yeah, education, information technology, healthcare. It involves a lot of variables that robots can't predict. So if you're in those sectors, you're going to be fine.
All right. Well, by the way, we have a great segment coming up. It's all of the important health applications, the apps that you need on your phone. So I'm excited about that segment. Mark, good to see you.
Good to see
Thanks
you
for
as
your
well.
insights. Mark Zinder
Thank you
joining us
very
there. Coming up next, more boots on the ground. U.S. Marines arriving in Syria and more troops reportedly on standby.